What is going on, everyone? My name's Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video, and today we're talking team selection preview series for Game Week 23. So as normal, I'll be going through how I did last week and how I'm shaping up for the week to come, Game Week 23, looking at potential transfers, captaincy option, that kind of thing. There is a bit of a storm raging outside, so hopefully none of that comes through on the video, but just an apology in advance in case it does. And just wanted to say that this video has kindly been sponsored by OneFootball once again. There's a handy link in the description below if you want to check it out. Team news, lineup news, general football news, league tables, live scores, all that good stuff you need. Android, iOS devices is what it works on. So click the link in the description below or just search OneFootball on the Android, iOS stores. Give it a go, see what you think. So Game Week 22 was actually a solid enough week in the end. 61 points total. Gave me about a 13,000 place green arrow up to 519k. So obviously still a pretty awful rank for this time of the season. But I've gone up about 80,000 places in the last 2 weeks. So not too bad, could be better. Obviously, for those of you who had like Mahrez and Aguero, even if you captained them as well, then you probably absolutely smashed it in Game Week 22 and got a big rank rise. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm just probably struggling a bit to find it. Obviously missed the boat a bit on that in Game Week 22. Never really considered it. Did mention that Aguero might be a bit of a differential captain, but wasn't ever really looking at bringing him in myself. But 61 points was pretty good. Let's talk about the elephant in goal. Fabianski, bought him in the end. It was between kind of McCarthy, Henderson and Ryan originally, and then I got reminded about the double game week for Fabianski. Short-term fixtures looked okay, and look, we can sit here and debate whether bringing in a West Ham goalkeeper was an awful decision or not, and I know a lot of you think it was an awful decision, and fair enough. But I think getting an injury within 13 minutes is pretty unlucky. There's not much I can do about that. Would Sheffield United have still scored if he was on goal? Potentially not. Could I have got a 0-0 out of that? Potentially, but it's all ifs and buts. It didn't happen. He got injured, and we'll have to wait and see whether he's out for a long time or not. But he's probably going to have to be. He's probably going to have to be transferred out. So 1 point 30 minutes was pretty awful. But in defence, Lundstram, same game, obviously came off early. See one or two Blades fans kind of saying that he hasn't performed well recently and maybe up for the chop. But I don't think that's likely to necessarily happen anytime soon. I think he's played such an important role in Sheffield United's season. It doesn't seem like he's going to be just dropped straight away, but you never know. They would know more than me, so potentially it could happen, but I'm not too worried for now. So 6 points from him, another 6 points from Trent Alexander-Arnold, another clean sheet for Liverpool, really damn good. Soyuncu 1 point, probably even lucky to get that. The amount of shots that Ings had, I think it was 8 or 9 in total in the box alone, and he definitely could have scored more than the one goal he got, and if he had, could have seen some minus points for Leicester players if all those shots had gone in. So Soyuncu not great, and obviously probably Leicester missing Ndidi a bit there. De Bruyne captain was nice. I went ahead with not captain Vardy in the end, hoping that Southampton defence would do well, which they did. They kept Leicester down just to 1 goal, and De Bruyne came through with 2 assists. You know, in a 6-1 win, you'd hope that he would have got a goal there as well. Really bumped that score up to the likes of Aguero, Mahrez. I can't complain too much. Rashford was the only other one I really considered outside of Mane, and he got 12 points, which was really nice. Obviously, a few people frustrated with him. Then he gets points in an easy fixture. Now people are talking about keeping him. So things changed quite quickly in FPL. But overall, pretty decent. Traore rubbish. You know, unlucky maybe not to get an assist. Jimenez shot, or header I think it was, saved off the line. And obviously Mane blanked, but you'd expect that maybe in a top 6 game. Another tough game this week, but going ahead, Liverpool fixtures are great, like we know already. So let's take a look at what Game Week 23 is looking like. So my defence is starting to look a little bit like a bit of a problem. Obviously Fabianski in goal, but we don't know what the injury status is with him yet. I'm having to record this on Monday evening, so it will go out on Tuesday, and obviously there's no up-to-date news. But given that it's a reoccurrence of the injury that kept him out for so long previously, I'm not expecting him to just be out for 1 game week. So the current plans are there, because I know a few people are looking at maybe transferring Fabianski out if they own him, or maybe if you still own Pope, looking to get rid of him as well. I think the options are still the ones that I said, Henderson, McCarthy or Ryan. McCarthy and Ryan have got the advantage that they've got good fixtures from now onwards, whereas Henderson's got Arsenal away and Man City at home, which is not ideal. Then it's some really good fixtures after that. So Henderson double up with like Lundstram could be good. I'm just not sure about it for the next 2 fixtures. The other option I have, of course, is if Fabianski's only out for a week and he's going to be back for the double game week, then I could just do Button, finally get rid of him for McCarthy, who's only 0.3 million more anyway, and just have 2 playing keepers, which is not the end of the world for sure. And obviously when Fabianski is back, it means I can play him as well. And in his bad fixtures, I can play McCarthy, etc. But right now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. But if I transfer out Fabianski, it'll probably be McCarthy, because you save 0.6 million. McCarthy, like I said, is only 0.3. Southampton defence, like before last week, in the last 6 matches before that, Southampton's expected goals conceded was the second best in the league, only behind Liverpool. So they've really improved defensively since that 9-0 hammering from Leicester. Not really kept any clean sheets, but hopefully they're to come with good fixtures. The reason I say my defence is looking a bit dodgy, Rico got dropped in the last game. Kelly may lose his place at some point. Obviously, Crystal Palace not kept many clean sheets anyway. Soyuncu without Ndidi. I mean, Leicester fixtures are pretty mixed over the next few, maybe 4 or 5 game weeks before they get good again. So Burnley away could be okay, and then I think it's West Ham at home after that as well. So not the worst fixtures for the next 2, but something to keep an eye out. And we'll have to wait and see what happens with Ndidi and how quickly he comes back. So a little bit worried about Soyuncu. I think if I was on a wild card, would I keep him? Potentially not. I might just take the money and run. It depends who I want to bring in. Obviously, around the likes of kind of Rico and Kelly's price, you got Holgate, who could be an option at 4.4 million for Everton, very cheap price. So currently going to stick with this defence, but I'm not too happy with it. Lundstrom's playing basically because of Rico and Kelly not being good enough to play this week. So I was originally going to bench him. I'm just not sure I can now. So probably going to play him against Arsenal. Not expecting too many points, but Arsenal haven't really been smashing the goals in since Arteta came along. And obviously Aubameyang is suspended now because of his red card. Lacazette obviously not a bad player to have in replacement to play up front, but hopefully Lundstrom can get something there. And obviously Trent, I've got to play him every single week. So defence may be looking a bit dodgy. Wild card, I've seen people say maybe I should get my wild card out. I think I'm a little bit loath to do that before the double game week because I want to see what kind of situation I'm in after that. And I'm not fully decided how I'm getting my third Liverpool player in yet. So maybe a little bit too much of indecision, I would say, because I'm doing badly at the moment. Even though I got 2 green arrows, because my team's not great and I'm not like kind of shooting up the ranks and getting into that top 200, top 100k, I probably am second guessing myself a little bit, so probably being a bit indecisive. But for now, the defence stays, and maybe I'll look at it in a week or 2. So one of the reasons I'm probably being a little bit indecisive is because I don't know which third Liverpool player I want. Now, because the defenders not really looking great right now, at least the ones that I own, and they're not being too many, I would say, standout options that I 100% want to bring in that I think are going to be super attacking and also get clean sheets at the moment. I am kind of siding towards just getting Robertson, having Trent Alexander on Robertson, playing every single week for the next kind of foreseeable future, then having a third defender that plays alongside them. Now, because Lundstrom's got Arsenal away and Man City at home, maybe it's not him for the next 2 weeks, but after that, he looks really good. So Trent, Robertson, Lundstrom could be good way of going forward, not worrying about my defence and just playing them every week. So if I go Robertson, obviously my midfield will stay kind of what it looks like already. I think Kevin De Bruyne, I've talked a few times about taking him out, but he's just proved again how good he is this season. And the fixtures aren't that bad for Man City over the next 4. So it's Crystal Palace at home. Right now he's down as captaincy. I think he's another good option this week. I'll talk about Vardy a bit in a minute. Then it's Sheffield United and West Ham or Spurs away before West Ham at home. So West Ham at home is a good fixture. Obviously Crystal Palace at home is a good fixture. Spurs away, debatable. I mean, they did pretty well against Liverpool. Whether or not they can do the same against City, we'll have to wait and see. But they did defend really well against Liverpool and kept the score right down. And Sheffield United away, look, who knows how they'll perform. Obviously, they've played them already once this season, so maybe Pep's learned a thing or two about how to penetrate Sheffield United's defence, although not many teams have done that this season, at least not to a kind of a big score standard. But I just don't think at the moment De Bruyne is where my priorities lie. I could easily do De Bruyne to Salah, no problem at all. But that's Mane and Salah for a lot of money invested when I can only captain one. And I'm just not sure it fits into the style of how my team is. So I'm probably going to look for Robertson. Obviously, Mane 100% stays. The two in the middle, Traore, not Ali this week, and Maddison. Like Maddison, I don't want to kind of knee-jerk to get rid of him, but Leicester were not great against Southampton. But obviously, like I said, Southampton's defensive underlying statistics have been good recently, whereas Burnley away, West Ham at home is probably a different story. So I feel like I can probably keep him. One of the players I'm looking at is Son. He's now back from suspension. Watford away, not an ideal fixture, but then Norwich at home in Gameweek 24. He could be a bit of a differential, less than 7% owned. But again, very hard to get him in with the team value and stuff that I've got. He's 9.8 million still. And Traore is the one I really don't like. He's bought him in, he's done nothing. Bought him in as a bit of an enabler, which is fair enough to get Liverpool players, but I'm just wondering if I can spend a bit of money on him and maybe get some money from elsewhere in my team, especially up front with Rashford. Troy, look, 3 tough fixtures after this one, and to be fair, at the moment, Southampton away is also looking like a tough fixture. Wolves not doing great recently. Jimenez hasn't scored for the last 3 weeks either, so I'm not sure whether that's a good player to keep this week. I probably don't need to do anything too drastic this week. I know a lot of people are looking at Man City players now, Mahrez and Aguero, and that's absolutely fair enough. But obviously, you've still got the worry of Pep roulette. De Bruyne came off after 62 minutes, so you'd imagine he will keep starting. And Mahrez, to be fair, has started a good majority of the last kind of 4 games as well. And Sterling's obviously missed out. But is that going to continue over the next 4 weeks? If you look at Mahrez's minutes over the course of the season, he hasn't played many top 6 matches. Now, when he does play, his scoring record is incredible. And maybe if you've got good team value and you've got a good 8th attacker, or you're just happy to miss out on Mahrez, sometimes just getting a cameo appearance, then fair enough. But I'm just not sure now is the time for me to think about bringing him in, despite how good he was last week. And obviously, we've got to remember Villa are a different story to most other teams in the league. They conceded a lot of chances. That's what happened against City, and they were severely and rightly punished for that. So Traore is what I'm looking at. In terms of replacements, we've got Richarlison maybe at Everton, maybe a punt on a Spurs midfielder. Obviously, Salah I've already mentioned, but Lucas Moura as well. Both of those two likely to get really good minutes with Kane out as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. In terms of cheap options, so keeping around the same price, you got Ismaila Sarr. At Watford, who's doing really well. Mixed fixtures there. Trossard, if everyone wanted a bit of a punt. Aston Villa and Bournemouth, next 2 fixtures. Both teams conceding a lot of chances. The top 2 teams, in fact, over the last 4 game weeks. So that's kind of where I'm looking. So Fabianski to McCarthy, if he's out, will probably be my move. But I'm also looking, obviously I've got 1.8 million in the bank. It may be upgrading Traore this week. It just depends whether I want to take the hit or not. So adding in the forwards, obviously Danny Ings, absolute must-have at the moment, it would seem. Probably the most informed striker in the league at the moment. Still under £7 million. So if you haven't bought him already, he still seems like a really good purchase. And the fixtures coming up are really good as well for Southampton. So he looks almost must-have. Should have had more points in the last fixture as well. I mean, if he'd got another goal, he would have got his customary free bonus points and absolutely smashed it again. So really happy to have him. Again, Wolves not really a team that I would expect to concede too many, but I think he's a genuine captaincy option this week. So I might look at that, but I think I've got to stick with De Bruyne. Now Vardy, although he's been quite well captained, I think that's going to drop down this week because people will be annoyed that we didn't blank last week. We only got an assist rather than getting a goal, kind of double figure haul. And I think he could be, I don't want to say like a differential because he's still going to be massively captain because it's a good fixture, but he should be less captain than before, and it might be a good time to go for him, Burnley away. But for me, De Bruyne, I think he'll still be less captain than Vardy, and I need to go for a bit of differential at the moment. It's certainly not going to be Rashford against Liverpool away, 6 clean sheets in a row for them. So it's between De Bruyne, Ings and Vardy for me. I'll probably stick to De Bruyne, but I will definitely consider the other 2 forwards as well. And really, this is the only other way. If I'm sticking with De Bruyne, and obviously I'm not getting rid of Mane, and even with 1.8 million in the bank, it's not really enough for what I need to do because I want to get Robertson in or Salah. I could, for example, do Rashford to Morpay and Maddison to Salah. That would let me do that, but then I'm stuck with Traore and no money to upgrade him. And Rashford's actually been really consistent. If you look over the last kind of 6-7 weeks, and even over the course of the season, I think he's the 4th highest scoring FPL player. He's been really consistent. So Liverpool away is not a great fixture, not expecting points. But then Burnley and Wolves at home. And like I said, Wolves maybe not looking as good as they were at the moment. So those 2 fixtures could be quite good. But Rashford is kind of my cash cow. He's the one that I've earmarked really for ages to have money. Calvert-Lewin or Morpay were my 2 options. Now, Calvert-Lewin is still shooting a lot in the box, getting plenty of shots off. The goals are going to come, I'm sure. But short-term fixtures are good, long-term not so good. Morpay has got a longer stretch of good fixtures, but his underlying stats are rubbish. I think he's only had like 5 shots in the box over the last 4 to 6 game weeks, something like that, which is pretty poor. Now, Aston Villa at home and then Bournemouth away. I mean, they're 2 games at the moment that, there's a lot of talk all the time about fixtures versus form. Will these fixtures bring Morpay into form? He's probably not going to score as many goals as Rashford, of course, but for £3+ million less, that is a way that I can upgrade. So Rashford to Morpay, and then Maddison to Salah if I want to go double up in midfield. But I'm thinking I'm going to go Robertson instead and maybe do Maddison to like Lucas Moura or something like that, or Son if I could afford it. But it's a key question. I'd be interested in getting your thoughts in the comments below. Should I get rid of Rashford? If you're a Rashford owner, you're looking to get rid. I must admit, I'm more tempted to keep him now than I was before. But then the other thing is, do I get rid of Vardy? And I just think Burnley away and West Ham at home, it's too early to do that. Maybe he's scoring less because of regression. We talked about his stats being unsustainable, and regression doesn't necessarily take place straight away. It can take a little while to come. Maybe that's happening. Maybe he needs more chances in the box to bring his goals back. But I just think Burnley away and West Ham at home are 2 good fixtures. I wouldn't want to be getting rid of Vardy. So money is an issue for me. I need to find it from somewhere. I don't have enough money, even if I do Fabianski to McCarthy. That's not enough money for me to do Rico to Robertson. I could potentially do Soyuncu to Robertson instead, but then I'm stuck with Rico or Kelly. And I don't think Soyuncu needs to go just yet. And obviously, with West Ham at home in Gameweek 24, That's a good time to play him instead of playing Lundstram against Man City at home instead, so I could bench Lundstram there. So lots of options. I'm kind of all over the place. You know, wildcard, I'm not certain yet. I don't think there's enough players that I would want to replace, even though there's a few bits of deadwood in my team. You know, Rico and Kelly, of course, they're deadwood, Traore as well, but they're not very highly priced, so I'm not expecting too many points from them anyway. So I don't think the wildcard. I think my most likely transfer, Fabianski to more McCarthy. I may just stick with that this week, and then finally decide next week, because I don't think Robertson against Man United is a priority to bring in necessarily, and I might want to keep Rashford next week. So maybe just do Fabianski to McCarthy, use my 1 free transfer, and then decide what to do next week. But I'd like to do some kind of a punt, someone like Son, if I could easily get him in. He would be an option. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this team. Is it in a complete mess? What transfers would you do? Leave me a comment below. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a like. Much appreciated as always. And subscribe if you're new around here. Plenty more content to come from the rest of this season. And of course next season as well, which I'm kind of already looking forward to, given how badly this one's going. But there is still a lot of game weeks to go. There's still potential for big rises with the right players. Have I got them? Not sure yet. Maybe I'll get them in a few weeks. I think although there's lots of transfers for me to mull over this week, and I'm still not 100% on Liverpool players, although I think I'll go double defence, given the way my team is set up. I don't want to do anything too drastic just yet. I know the season's kind of running out, of course. But a double game week has got to come, game week 24. I'm going to use my triple captainship, and I want to see what my rank is looking like after that. Obviously, you know, those that went Mahrez and Aguero, they're kind of a bit of inspiration there to try and look for the next big thing. But even if I got Son in, for example, for Watford away, which is not a great fixture at the moment, and Norwich are home, I'm not going to captain him in that game anyway because it's part of the double game week. So is that the one to go for, or do I just bide my time, get through game week 24, see what the rank is after that, and then just see how differential I need to go? Obviously, if I get a couple of 100k rank rises in the double game week, then maybe it's a bit of a different story. I know that's going to be difficult. Everyone's going to have 3 Liverpool players, but perhaps if I nail the triple captainship, maybe go Mane instead of Salah. Salah doesn't do too well, but Mane absolutely gets, well, smashes it and gets 2 double-figure hauls over both weeks. And you never know. Obviously, the opposite could happen. Salah could smash it. I don't own him. And it all ends in tears. And I'm 200k places down, not up. But we will see. This video has already been too long. So I'm sure you're annoyed about having to hear any more from me. So I'll leave it there. If you haven't already checked out OneFootball, link in the description below, or search OneFootball on Android, iOS stores. I'll be back with the preview tomorrow. And like I said, all the normal content running up to the end of the season. So I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.